Good morning. If you could all please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, walk with us. Clear our path and order our steps. Make us faithful to truth, even when truth is difficult. Make us brave in the face of injustice, and make us humble in the successes you bestow upon us. Lord Jesus, form our hearts for the work ahead. Let our advocacy be honest, and let our judgment be merciful. Let our work bring dignity to the people we serve. Teach us to see not just cases, but human beings, not just conflict, but opportunities for resolution. And Holy Spirit, strengthen us. Give us courage when silence is easy. Give us compassion when the law feels cold. Keep us from pride. Keep us from bitterness. Keep us close to the purpose that brought us here. So send us forward with wisdom, with peace, and with you, O Heavenly Father, so that we may serve faithfully in our community, in our courtrooms, and in every place called upon by you. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Jessica. Welcome to the 47th hooding and graduation ceremony for Campbell University's Norman Adrian Wiggins School of Law. Today is the culmination of a seemingly endless amount of hard work, preparation, and sacrifice. We celebrate your accomplishments to date, and we look forward to watching as you launch your new careers. Joining me on the platform today are several distinguished guests and leaders that will participate in our celebration of the class of 2026. Bringing us our commencement address today is our state's distinguished senior United States Senator, Thom Tillis. From Campbell University, our new president in his first law school graduation, Dr. William Downs. Our able vice president for academic affairs and the provost, Dr. Michael Adams. From the Campbell University Board of Trustees, Dr. Heather Massengill. My talented associate dean, Shay Hines Glick, who will call the names of graduates, and Professor Olivia Weeks, the veteran chair of our Honors and Awards Committee, who will announce awards and distribute diplomas. The president of the Student Bar Association, who delivered our invocation, Jessica Griffin. Vice Dean Matthew Homewood of the Nottingham School of Law in Great Britain, who will award their LLM degrees from his school earned by our students. And my accomplished associate dean, John DeStefano, who will offer our benediction. I frequently say, and I truly mean, that I have the best administrative staff of any law dean in the country, and I would like all of them, whether on stage or in the audience, to stand and be recognized. And I would particularly like to thank my graduation committee, and particularly its chair, my registrar, Dr. Connie Shipman-Newsom, and my associate registrar, Vanessa Jackson, who we affectionately refer to as General Jackson, for the enormous planning that has gone into today. Graduates, today is a transitional point in your lives. For the rest of your days, no matter what you are doing, whether you are a prosecutor or a public defender, a civil litigator or a criminal defense attorney, a judge, a corporate officer, a government official, or a parent at home raising children, when the question is asked, what do you do? From this day forward, you're entitled to proudly answer, I am a lawyer. As the father of five, the main lesson I have learned is that your children learn their values more from watching what you do than from listening to what you say. I expect the same may be largely true of you graduates today. It is the way in which this outstanding faculty, both permanent and adjunct, has taught, mentored, and interacted with you that will largely determine the values that you take into your new profession. To the extent that you perceive law as a calling, it is because you have noticed that all of us view it that way. And if, as we hope, kindness, civility, and respect mark the way in which you conduct your legal career, it will be because that was the way you were treated here. And if you hold yourselves to the highest standards of legal excellence, I hope it will be because you watched us as individuals do the same. I would like to ask my superb faculty, both permanent and adjunct in the audience, to stand and let you express your appreciation for the extraordinary legal education they have provided you. Let me now invite to the podium Dr. William Downs, Campbell's ambitious, visionary, and hardworking sixth president. Dr. Downs is a Raleigh native, earned his BA in political science from North Carolina State University, then a master's degree and a PhD from Emory University in political science. An avowed internationalist, his research and teaching lie at the intersection of comparative politics and international relations. With 30 years of experience in higher education, he was the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at East Carolina University and the President of Gardner-Webb University before joining us. He will be followed by Dr. Heather Massengill, bringing greetings from the trustees. Dr. Massengill is a two-time Campbell graduate, earning both an MBA and a PharmD. She is the Senior Director and Head of Strategy and Operations for U.S. Medical Oncology at GlaxoSmithKline, where she helps develop medical strategies related to key oncology initiatives. Dr. Downs.
Thank you, Dean Leonard. Good morning, everyone. Faculty, staff, distinguished guests, graduates of the class of 2026. I am delighted to join you today to bring you greetings from the entire Campbell University campus community. We congratulate you, and we wish you well as you begin your professional and personal journeys. Now, I will confess up front that your graduation is a little bittersweet for me. You are departing Campbell just as I am getting settled in. My first year at Campbell is your last year at Campbell, and I'm trying not to take that too personally. I will always remember the class of 2026 with great fondness because you have helped me get to know Campbell, and in particular, you have helped me get to know the Campbell University School of Law. The Norman Adrian Wiggins School of Law is truly one of the shining jewels in the Campbell crown. Good people, great mission, graduates who are making positive and lasting differences in their professions and in their communities. You should be proud of joining this growing list of law school alumni. And you can be assured that this network of alumni is very, very proud of you. Now, in my 10 months in the job, here's what I've learned about your Campbell experience. First, your professors have prepared you well. You are going out into your careers with world-class training. You are more than ready, and that should give both confidence and comfort to your future clients and to your future partners. Second, you haven't just been given your degree. You haven't been given anything. Instead, you've had to earn it. That means you've navigated challenges, you've persevered through unanticipated, unscripted peaks and valleys, and you've ultimately prevailed. And that should give you confidence that no matter what life throws at you, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. It's worth remembering the Campbell University motto, ad astra per aspera, to the stars through difficulties. Friends, find your North Star, and then let nothing, absolutely nothing, stand in your way. The third thing I've learned about your Campbell experience is that Campbell graduates are people who care. You are people who care. And in a world where empathy is in short supply, you have it in abundance. Campbell was founded on a mission to serve the underserved, and you are the answer to that calling. Our world doesn't just need more lawyers. It needs more Campbell lawyers. Practitioners who can navigate the rapidly changing legal landscape with both skill and integrity. Our world needs more principled leadership. It needs greater integration of faith and justice, and it needs people who can build and sustain relationships founded on trust. That, my friends, is you. Graduates, what else do we know about you? We know you're brilliant. We know you're all rising stars. We know you have the future and the world at your fingertips. Embrace and enjoy this great moment of potential. Don't be burdened too much too soon by the weight of responsibility and expectation. But do keep in mind that your blessings of brilliance mean that people will soon begin to look to you to lead, to serve, to do the right thing, to set examples for others. Much will be demanded, much will be asked. Do not wilt, do not waver in the face of those expectations. Rise to them and deliver your best. Life comes at you with significant doses of stress and anxiety and pressure. Let me simply encourage you to take it as a compliment that somebody, a professor, a client, a pastor, a judge, a friend, will look you in the eye and let you know that much is expected of you. Now, in just a few moments, I will have the honor and the responsibility of conferring upon you the degree to which you have aspired and worked, with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereunto. But before officially conferring the various degrees, it is my duty and my privilege to convey the university's charge to you. And while we celebrate the joy of this moment, I want you each to remember that you have a solemn responsibility to make a positive and lasting difference in the lives of others. Campbell is a private university, but we have a very public mission. And so I charge each of you to apply the knowledge and skills that you have developed here to help improve the lives of others, to lift up the communities in which you live and work, and to advance the causes of justice and understanding in all that you do. Be unapologetic in sharing the values that you hold dear. Be bold and be ambitious, but carry yourself with humility and grace. Be brave in your defense of what is good, what is right, and what is noble in this world. Do these things, and you will successfully carry out the mission you've been blessed to receive. Do these things, and you will bring credit not only to yourself, but to Campbell University. Do these things, and I know that you will each make us all very, very proud. So to each of you, I commend you on your accomplishments, and on behalf of the entire university family, I congratulate you. We share in the happiness of this moment, and we wish for you a life filled with professional and personal successes. Congratulations, class of 2026. May God bless you this day and all the days of your lives. Thank you very much.
Good morning. It is a privilege to stand before you today on behalf of the Campbell University Board of Trustees. I bring congratulations and warm greetings to the class of 2026, especially you, the class of the School of Law. As someone who has a niece sitting amongst the graduates today, it is especially meaningful for me to celebrate with you today. Graduates, today marks the culmination of years of dedication, sacrifice, perseverance. You've worked hard, you've overcome challenges, and you've grown both personally and professionally, and we are incredibly proud of you. You're entering a profession grounded in justice and responsibility, and may you practice with integrity, courage, and care. To the families, the mentors, the faculty, and the friends, thank you. Your encouragement, your support, and the sacrifices have made this moment possible. As trustees, we are entrusted with preserving and advancing the mission of Campbell University. Graduates, today you join a very special community. You become alumni of Campbell University. Wherever you go next, whether it's continuing your education, beginning a new career, serving your community, or pursuing new dreams, we are confident that you will make a meaningful difference. Campbell will always be a part of your story, and you will always be a part of ours. The world you enter needs your talent, your ideas, your compassion, and your leadership. It needs people of character. It needs you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, sincere congratulations, class of 2026. We celebrate you today. We are proud of your accomplishments, and we are super excited for all that lies ahead. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Downs, Dr. Massengill, for those inspiring words. Senator Tom Tillis was born into a working-class family with his father, mother, and 5 siblings. During his childhood, his family was frequently forced to relocate, depending on where his parents could find work. After graduating from high school, Senator Tillis was unable to afford college, so he took a job as a warehouse records clerk, earning minimum wage. He knows firsthand how difficult it is to raise a family while attending school at night, struggling to make ends meet. Through hard work and dedication, he quickly moved up the corporate ladder, earning his degree at 36 and becoming a top-level executive at PricewaterhouseCoopers and IBM. His 29-year private sector career in technology and management consulting provided him with a deep understanding of policymaking and the management of complex organizations. Before serving in the Senate, he was the Speaker of the House in the North Carolina General Assembly, where he played an instrumental role in enacting job-creating policies and reforming North Carolina's tax and regulatory codes. First elected to the United States Senate in 2014, he became our senior senator with Senator Burr's retirement in 2023. He is a member of the Senate Finance Committee, the Veterans Affairs Committee, the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, and the Judiciary Committee. He makes North Carolinians proud by being a candid and fearless commentator on matters of critical national importance. He announced on June 29, 2025, that he would not seek re-election to a 3rd term and will finish his current term in January of 2027. He lives with his wife, Susan, in Huntersville. They're proud parents of 2 grown children and many grandchildren. And I'm so delighted that he accepted my invitation to be with us this morning. Senator Tillis.
Well, good morning, everybody. President Downs, Dean Leonard, members of the Board of Trustees, and faculty members, congratulations on graduating another successful class, the class of 2026. And also congratulations on your incredible track record over the past 50 years. Consistently high bar passage rates, national advocacy wins, and those clinics where your students work with real clients on real problems that actually matter to real people. It has long been Campbell's vision not only to produce lawyers who could pass a bar, but to produce lawyers who understand that a client is a person who has a real problem. And the law is only as good as the people who apply it with care and integrity. It's a vision that shaped every member of today's graduating class, and I believe all the classes before. No doubt, many of the students graduating today have already changed people's lives for the better. And those clinics, and they're just getting started, thanks to all of your leadership. So on behalf of so many people across North Carolina who have benefited from prior classes, thank you for the wonderful work you do on behalf of these students. Now, to the 2026 graduating class of Campbell Law. Congratulations, you did it. Your focus and your determination have helped you achieve this major milestone. Now you can look ahead to endless opportunities to grow and to improve the lives of countless people. You're starting your careers at a genuinely complicated moment, but in reality, every graduating class that came before you has been confronted with the unique challenges of their time. In your case, AI is already changing how legal research gets done, how contracts get drafted, and how arguments get built. Entire industries are shifting faster than anyone predicted. All of this is occurring during a populist era of politics fueled by leaders at either end of the spectrum who are questioning whether our institutions, the courts, Congress, the legal field itself, should be not modernized to fit the times. I'm not going to get into politics right now, but as future stewards of the court, I would ask all of you to be careful to avoid rationalizing, modernizing the institutions of the court when it's little more than a shortcut around the hard work of the law. The underlying foundation isn't broke, so don't yield to populist voices who want to fix something that isn't broke. I've watched institutions over my 65 years, and I've had a front row seat in some extraordinary ones, including PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I was a partner, IBM, Global Business Services, also a partner, then from the perch as Speaker of the House, and now for roughly 12 years in the U.S. Senate, including 12 years on the Judiciary Committee. And what I've come to understand is that institutions hold and thrive when people inside of them take their work seriously. It's not the rules, and it's not the structure. It's the people who are the ultimate stewards of our great public and private institutions. And it is on us, we the people, to protect them. When things got hard, and they always get hard, there were people inside those institutions that decided that not only the work of the institution, but the institution itself mattered most. It's been said that 90% of success is showing up. Those who show up despite the challenges of those who despite the challenges, and those who confront those challenges over the course of their careers with the same spirit you demonstrated in attaining your law degree is what I believe is the common thread that I've witnessed in every good organization that I've been a part of. And it's what I want to leave you with today. So let me give you a few things, 3 lessons, not from a textbook, from the work itself. Now, I'll start by saying you all are witnessing for the first time in 50 years me with a graduation gown on. I drew the line at the hat, I just couldn't do it. But it was my commencement in my high school graduation in 1978. And so it is true that I didn't have the money to go to college, but it's also a sad statement on somebody who was student body president, most likely to succeed, member of the Honor Society and Beta Club, that I didn't have enough sense to know that I probably could have gone to college somehow if I had. But I grew up in a big family that had a work ethic. You graduate from high school, you go to work. College wasn't necessarily something that my 2 parents who didn't graduate from high school saw as top of mind. They just wanted our kids their kids to get a high school degree and go get a working wage and raise a family. So I find myself as a relatively smart kid working in a warehouse deciding this is not where I want to end up. And so some of my lessons for you are the lessons that took me out of that warehouse and where I stand today. The first lesson is ask for the hard assignment. When I was coming up in my career, the advice I kept hearing was be patient, pay your dues, wait your turn, and understand. And I understand that instinct, but I think it misses something important. The people I've watched build real careers in law and business and in public service, almost all of them did the same thing early on. They didn't wait to be noticed. They found an assignment nobody else wanted. They were asked, they asked where they could be useful, and they leaned into the hard problems. I've told everyone who has ever worked for me, when they've asked for my career advice, the same thing. And I've lived by this over my 65 years. Don't ask for a raise. Don't ask for a promotion. Ask for more work. Ask for the assignment that scares you a little. Ask a coworker if there's something you can do to help them if you're up to date on your own assignment. It may sound counterintuitive, but here's what happens in a good organization when you do that. You will build a reputation that you're not only focused on your personal success, but that you know your ultimate success is inextricably linked to the institution's success and every other person in it. And believe me, if you practice this throughout your career, you will receive more pay raises, promotions, and recognition than you can possibly imagine. It may be a leap of faith, but it's one worth taking. And more importantly, you'll build something that a title can't give you. You'll build a reputation. And in your profession, and in most professions, at the end of the day, your reputation is everything. Second lesson, earn trust before you ask for anything. Our state motto is esse quam videre, to be rather than to seem. I've invoked that phrase many times in my political career. One of my staff pointed out one time really loudly in a bit of an argument with Senator Rand Paul on the Senate floor. But the idea is sound. The legal profession is built on trust. Clients bring you their most difficult problems, sometimes in the worst moments of their lives. And they're not looking for someone who seems prepared or who seems like they care. They need the real thing. The lawyer who is prepared, who read the file, who knows the facts cold, who thought about it at 11 o'clock at night before they went to bed and woke up thinking about it the next morning, that client's problem. How you show up in those moments, how thoroughly you've prepared, how seriously you take that responsibility shapes not just your career, but how people see the law itself. You're not just representing a client, you're representing the institution. Trust is slow to build and fast to lose. And once it's gone, it's very hard, if not impossible, to get back. So treat it like the asset it is. Don't cut corners. Don't let your work go out the door if you're not confident in it. Don't let someone who is counting on you down. And oh yeah, don't get caught letting AI do your work unless you give it full credit. And if you do, ask yourself why you got into this profession. Esse quam videre. Be the thing. Just don't look like it. Third lesson, find common ground, and then build from there. One of my favorite quotes when I first got into politics in 2006, I loved it. It's from John Locke, who once said, "To prejudge other men's notions before we have looked into them is not to show their darkness, but to put out our own eyes." I've forgotten what argument he was using to have people hear his case, but I use that in a very different way. I prejudge no one until I've sat down with them and tried to understand them. whether it was in business or in politics, and it served me well because it's made me learn things that had my eyes been shut, I would have never had that opportunity to grow and learn and view various issues through a different lens. It's helped me grow, and it will help you grow. And I know there's a lot of division right now. You'd have to be living under a rock not to notice, at least in my line of work. And I'm not going to stand up here and pretend it's easy to work across the divide. But in the Senate, I've also seen the extraordinary result that occurs when you do. The people who actually get work done, not the ones who make the most noise, not the ones you see on TV, but the ones who move things. The ones who are willing to sit down with someone other than, on the other side and find a sliver of common ground and build on it. That's what I want you to be. That's how I got Respect for Marriage done, how we got a real infrastructure bill done, and how we got a Safer Communities Act across the finish line, the first meaningful investment in behavioral health and mental health in the history of this nation. None of those efforts were easy. In fact, some of them were difficult. Many thought our efforts were doomed to fail. None of them made everybody happy. That's why I knew we were in our sweet spot. But they are real, and they will impact the lives of millions of people for many years to come. You see, when you actually get to yes with someone instead of beating them, the result can have enormous, positive, enduring value. The same principle applies in your career. Not every disagreement needs to become a war. Not every opposing counsel is your enemy. Honestly, some of the best lawyers I've encountered are the ones who know how to find solutions, not just on how to win the argument. That skill, knowing when to press and knowing when to build a bridge, will take you further than almost anything else. I want to say one more thing about where you're starting your actual careers, right here in North Carolina. I would do a show of hands, but I don't want to embarrass anybody who's made the horrible decision to leave the state. But for those of you who decide to continue to practice law in the state, know this state is in a genuinely good place right now. The economy is growing, and our population is growing at a rate faster than all but 2 states, Florida and Texas. We're pulling in major employers in technology, life sciences, advanced manufacturing. Communities that are struggling a decade ago are seeing real improvement and real investment. But growth brings its own complications. Housing, infrastructure, hard questions on who benefits and who gets left behind. Every one of those challenges has a legal dimension. And every one of them needs lawyers who understand not just what the statute says, but what it's supposed to accomplish in the real world. That's where you come in. Get out there, have fun, transform lives, and preserve and protect the gold standard of legal systems here in the United States of America. Now, to the families and friends who supported these students, thank you. And to the class of 2026, you know that many of these family members and friends have had late nights and stress and uncertainty alongside of you as the graduating class. They probably rearranged their lives once or twice to support you. And they probably answered the phone more than once or twice when you were having a bad day or just wondering whether or not it was worth it all. But you're here today, in large part because of the work you've done, but in part because of those who love you, what they did for you. So would you mind getting up, turning around, and giving them a show of applause right now and gratitude? And finally, to the class of 2026, you won't always have clarity. Nobody does. That's not a sign something is wrong. That's just what the work looks like up close. What matters is how you approach it. Take the hard assignment. Earn the trust before you ask for anything. Find common ground and build from there. Esse quam videri. To be rather than to seem. It's been the state standard for a long time, and I think it's a good standard for every single one of you and everybody in this great state of North Carolina. Congratulations on your hard work. God bless you, and may God bless your futures. Thank you.
Again, thanks to Senator Tillis for gracing us with those insightful remarks. Let me invite to the podium Professor Olivia Weeks for the presentation of awards, assisted by Dean Megan Sharon.
Good morning. It is my privilege on behalf of the faculty and the Honors and Awards Committee, along with Dean Leonard, to recognize our graduating students for their many accomplishments, both during the past year and throughout their legal education. As the parents, spouses, families, and friends of this graduating class, you know these students are immensely creative, motivated, and talented individuals. We are pleased today to present the awards listed in your program and to recognize this class's many accomplishments and contributions to the School of Law. Graduates, as I call your name, I would ask you to please stay in the order that I call your name. Our first award is the Howard Memorial Christian Citizenship Award. This prestigious award was established in 1980 and has been presented every year since to the graduating student whose citizenship and leadership exemplify the Christian character of the aspiration of the School of Law. It is presented by the faculty of the School of Law in memory of Barry Howard and is sponsored by the Howard Memorial Christian Education Fund. The recipient of this year's award is Reese David Dickerhoff. Next, we present the Academic Achievement Awards. First, the third-year Academic Achievement Award is presented to the student with the highest academic average in the third year. This year's recipient is Madeline J. Livingston. Well, thank you. The Richard A. and Nikki A. Lord Outstanding Graduate Award is a cash award given annually to the graduating student who excels academically as well as in additional endeavors, thereby contributing fully to the School of Law, his or her peers, and the legal profession. This award, which recognizes overall excellence, is funded by Campbell Professor Emeritus Richard A. Lord. This year's recipient is Madeline J. Livingston. The Jesse and Elizabeth Leonard Valedictorian Award is a cash award presented to the valedictorian of the graduating class. This award was created and funded by Dean Rich Leonard in memory of his parents. This year's recipient of the Jesse and Elizabeth Leonard Valedictorian Award is Jessica Lynn Edwards-Dew. Next, we award the Dean's Outstanding Improvement Award. This cash award is presented to the student exhibiting the most outstanding academic improvement over his or her law school career. The recipient is selected by the Dean and Associate Academic Dean of the law school. This year's recipient is Nicholas Tran Bateman. We next recognize the recipient of the Robert A. Jenkins Award. This cash award is presented to the student whose work in various competitions or other areas best represents the School of Law to the community, the profession, and the public. This year's recipient is Bo Gordon Marlette. Next up is the National Association of Women Lawyers Award. This award is presented to a graduating student based on academic achievement, motivation, and potential to contribute to the advancement of women in the profession. This year's recipient is Caitlin Louise Gallimore. The Norman Adrian Wiggins Estate Planning Award is presented by the faculty in memory of Dr. Norman Adrian Wiggins, the late president and chancellor of Campbell University. This cash award recognizes the best performance in the estate tax and planning area. This year's recipient is Jessica Lynn Edwards-Dew. At this time, I would like to recognize Brittany Swanger, the incoming president of the Student Bar Association, to present the Student Bar Association Service Award.
Good morning. My name is Brittany Swanger, and I have the profound honor of serving as the incoming president of the Student Bar Association. Standing here today is a true privilege, not just because we're celebrating this extraordinary graduating class, but because I have the chance to recognize a student whose heart, service, and quiet strength has impacted this community in very lasting ways. Each year, we honor one graduating student whose service has been encouraging and inspiring. Someone who has poured themselves into this school with sincerity, humility, and deep dedication. This year's recipient embodies the very best of Campbell Law. They have served their peers with patience, guided their successors with generosity, and offered countless classmates a steady, compassionate presence in moments when it mattered most. They never asked for recognition, and they never needed the spotlight. They led from a place of integrity and respect. They cared about the people around them, and their impact is woven in the fabric of this community. It is my deepest honor to announce that this year's Student Bar Association Service Award goes to Reese Dickerhoff. Please join me in celebrating Reese for this recognition.
Thank you, Brittany. Over the past 3 years, many members of the class of 2026 have represented the School of Law with distinction in regional and national moot court, trial team, client counseling, and other lawyering skills competitions. With a tremendous amount of interest, talent, and participation in the numerous advocacy and lawyering skills programs of the School of Law, it is difficult to single out those who have excelled. However, we are fortunate to have several categories of awards to bestow upon those deserving students. The first is the Order of Barristers. Membership in this national society recognizes outstanding performance in the art of advocacy. This year's 9 new barristers are Hayden Charles Bauer, Paige Lorette Klink, Haley David LaRock, Thomas Latito, Bo Gordon Marlette, Robert Montgomery Massey, Joan C. Mullinex, David Tip Olshinsky, Annalise Janine Spillman, Next, we recognize those students inducted into the Order of Old Kivett. This law school award recognizes students who have excelled in lawyering skills while representing the law school in an exemplary fashion in regional and national competitions while maintaining the highest ethical standards. This year's inductees to the Order of Old Kivett are William Frank Alfonso, Justin Floyd Booker, Shannon Alexa Conrad, Christian Parker Ray, Jessica Michelle Griffin, Edmund A. Gunther IV, Virginia Dalton Levine, Robert Montgomery Massey, Darren Stevens. We next present the International Academy of Trial Lawyers Award. This award is given for distinguished achievement in the Student Advocacy Program. This year's recipient is Haley David LaRock. Next up is the North Carolina Advocates for Justice Student Advocacy Awards. These awards are presented to the student showing the most significant improvement during the required advocacy program and are sponsored by the North Carolina Advocates for Justice. This year's recipients are Juanita Jill Wanamaker, and Madison Weiss. We next recognize the recipient of the Calhoun Advocacy Award. This award recognizes the best performance in the required trial and appellate advocacy program and is sponsored by M. Jean Calhoun, class of 1980. This year's winner is Hayden Charles Bauer. We also recognize the recipient of the Saffron Moot Court Award. This cash award, sponsored by Perry R. Saffron, class of 1981, is presented in recognition of outstanding contribution to the Moot Court program at the School of Law. This year's recipient is Darren Stevens. Over the past 3 years, many members of the class of 2026 have represented the law school with distinction in clinical fieldwork, pro bono activities, and other public service endeavors. We are fortunate to have several categories of awards to bestow upon those deserving students. First, we recognize the student receiving the Pro Bono Publico Award. This recognition is awarded to a graduating student whose demonstrated commitment to pro bono activities exemplifies the aspirations of the School of Law and the best intentions of the legal profession. This year's recipient is Emma Grace Baynard. The Outstanding Clinical Student Award is presented for excellence in clinical fieldwork and for exceptionally thoughtful, self-reflected participation in an accompanying clinical seminar and is sponsored by the Clinical Legal Education Association. This year's recipient is Elijah Colpart. Our next award is the Outstanding Externship Student Award. This award is presented for excellence in clinical fieldwork and for exceptionally thoughtful, self-reflective participation in an accompanying externship course and is sponsored by the Clinical Legal Education Association. This year's recipient is Reese David Dickerhoff. We next recognize the student receiving the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers Law Student Award. This is a cash award to the student who has exhibited the competency, ethics, and skill to elevate the practice of family law. It is sponsored by the North Carolina chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. This year's recipient is Abby Elizabeth Newton. That wraps up the awards for the class of 2026. In recognition of the tremendous contributions each member of the class of 2026 has made to the School of Law through their presence, scholarship, and participation, let's give the entire class a round of applause. Thank you.
And now we come to the part of the program for which you all assembled today. Let me call Dr. Michael Adams, our provost, and Dr. William Downs, our president, to the podium for the presentation of candidates and the conferral of degrees.
Totally got it off now. There we go. There we go. Will all candidates for the degrees please stand? That was the hard part. At this time, President William M. Downs will confer the degree Juris Doctor upon you as presented in the graduation program. You will then present yourself as you are recognized. Dr. Downs, upon the recommendation of the Dean and the faculty of the Norman Adrian Wiggins School of Law and the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost for the University, we hereby present the candidates for the degree Juris Doctor as presented in the graduation program.
Upon the recommendation of the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost and the Dean and faculty of the Norman Adrian Wiggins School of Law, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree as presented in the graduation program, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations, you are now officially graduates of Campbell University. Please make a joyful noise. You may be seated.
Good morning. I am Associate Dean Hines Glick, and I have the honor of presenting the graduates for hooding and receipt of their degrees today. Dean Hernandez, if you would escort our first group to the stage, please. Kaylee Browning Alf. William Frank Alfonso. Wesley Altman. Abul Hasnat Muhammad Yasir Azam. Sina Omar Bahur. Luis I. Barboza. Emilia Barcelona. Nicholas Tran Bateman. Hayden Charles Bauer. Cum laude. Emma Grace Baynard. Ariana Benbenek. Amy Catherine Bernhard. Magna cum laude. Nicholas Allen Biesmeyer. Robert Marshall Bazal. William Carroll Blackerby V. Dylan Christopher Bland. Adam Terry Blevins. Justin Floyd Booker. Casey Christine Bowker. Sierra Jade Brandenburg. Magna cum laude. Jacob Carlisle Brendel. Magna cum laude. Clayton Brockman. Magna cum laude. Laurel Kirby Brown. Leanne Nicole Kane. Natalie Lauren Carter. Latrice Yvette Clayton. Lauren Collins. Elijah Colpart. Shannon Alexa Conrad. Erin Elizabeth Cook. Brian Lane Corbett. Gavin Gerard Dossier. Cum laude. Gavin is receiving a hood today for his JD and his Master's in Business Administration. Carmen Olivia Daniels. Cum laude. Yakia Nicole Davis. Kevin Day. Melissa J. Dean. Magna cum laude. Reese David Dickerhoff. Anna Michelle Diorio. Madison Dishler. Magna cum laude. George Austin Dreyer. Cum laude. Megan Victoria Drum. Jessica Lynn Edwards-Dew. Summa cum laude. Joshua Thane Fife. Caleb Fisher. Ariel Monique Fauner. Caitlin Louise Gallimore. Magna cum laude. Aline Diane McDonald Gilbert. Caitlin Nicole Gilbert. Catherine Ann Green. Jessica Michelle Griffin. Cum laude. Edmund A. Gunther IV. Summa cum laude. Drury Woodson Hall. Macy Carrington Hardin. Deborah Kathleen Harris. Cum laude. Grant Paul Harris. Linda Caroline Harris. Sorry. Magna cum laude. William Eason Biggs Hawley. Amani Sakai Henderson. Lauren Marie High. Jackson R. Holcomb. Jerry Dell Holmes III. Sylvia Elaine Hopkins. Caitlin Horn. Lara Bay Ennis. Margaret May Ireland. Emily Marie Jacobson. Magna cum laude. Manu Jarvis. Jake Parker Jernigan. Lindsay Lee Johnson. Natalie Virginia Johnson. Magna cum laude. Emma Rissler Jones. Paige Lorette Klink. Shane Wilson Knight. Shreya Sujatha Kumar. Haley Davin Larock.
cum laude. Alana Marie LaRussa, cum laude. John Michael Layton. Virginia Dalton Levine. Patricia Michelle Lilly. Patricia is receiving her hood today for both her JD and her Master's in Trust and Wealth Management. Natalie J. Livingston. Summa cum laude. Dylan Michael Long, cum laude. Thomas Latito. Elliot Stoughton Madden. Cole Peter Maimoni. Isabella Rose Malagisi. John Elliott Mann. Bo Gordon Marlette, cum laude. Ellie Reagan Martin, magna cum laude. Carson Lynn Massengill. Robert Montgomery Massey. Ashlyn Taylor McEwen. Colton Thomas Meads. John Henry Mills IV. John Montague. Stephanie Brianna Moore. Anna Mackenzie Mueller, cum laude. Molly Jean Mullane. Jones C. Mullinex. Abby Elizabeth Newton. Lainey Caroline Norris. Alexis North. Cum laude. Bella Pilar Ocampo. Nicole Jane Ohanessian. David Tip Olszewski. Cum laude. Benjamin D. Overby, Jr. Colin Oyaraku Owusu Ajamong. Disa Dilip Kumar Patel. Emma Kate Pearson. Magna cum laude. Ruth Chrissy Anna Philippe. Christian Parker Ray. Anna Godwin Rayner. Elizabeth Gowan Reynolds. Magna cum laude. Tally Ann Ridgway. Cum laude. Elizabeth Neely Robertson. Cum laude. Brittany Jasmine Robinson. Brooke Nicole Salgado. Ashlyn Elizabeth Salvatore. Alicia Ann Santos. Daniel Wyatt Schlein. Cum laude. Tab Shea. Pierce A. Shipway. Magna cum laude. Nathan E. Shorter. Elizabeth Weldon Sills. Brendan Vincent Michael Silverman. Megan Mitchell Singletary, Jr. Jacob Davies Slattery. Jared William Smith. Ransom Davis Smith. Annalise Janine Spielman. Megan Elise Broadway Stamper. Darren Stevens. Alexander William Stock. Alexander is being hooded today for both his JD and his Master's in Trust and Wealth Management. Joseph C. Tharrington, V, magna cum laude. Audrey Ulrich. Jonathan Joseph Vergara. Davis Atwell Walker. Juanita Jill Wanamaker. Meiying Wong. Robert Lowry Ware. Cum laude. William Brewer Warlick. Madison Weiss. Taylor Evelyn West. James David Robert Shaw Whitaker. Nicholas Wilkins. Caitlin Ashley Williams. Cum laude. Catherine Wren Williams. Josiah Boyd Wolf. Stephen Andrew Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, Campbell Law's class of 2026.
Next, let me invite to the podium Deputy Dean Matthew Homewood of our English partner, Nottingham Law School, for remarks and presentation of diplomas and awards.
Wow. Dean, members of the faculty, administrative colleagues, distinguished guests, families and friends, and most importantly, today's graduates, it is a great pleasure to join you for this celebration. Graduation is always a special moment, but it's especially so when it brings together institutions, jurisdictions, and legal traditions from different parts of the world in a shared recognition of achievement. I'd like to congratulate all graduating students. For me, it's the absolute highlight of the academic year. An opportunity to celebrate your achievements, recognize your success, and to witness the excitement, pride, and sense of accomplishment that each and every one of you rightfully feels as you don those famous Campbell robes and reflect upon the journey that has brought you here today. I'd also like to offer particular congratulations to those of you who, alongside your JD, are graduating with the LLM in International Legal Studies from Nottingham Law School in England. This represents an additional and demanding academic commitment, and one that deserves recognition for both its rigour and global perspective. Nottingham Law School, Nottingham Trent University, is one of the UK's leading law schools, has a long-established reputation for combining doctrinal excellence with practical legal education, professional ethics, and an outward-facing international outlook. Many of our programs, including this LLM, are designed with the express intention of preparing graduates to operate confidently across legal systems, cultures, and borders. Those of you who have completed this program have engaged deeply with international and transnational legal frameworks, explored how law responds to global challenges, and developed analytical skills that will serve you well in an increasingly interconnected profession. And you've done this whilst completing the significant demands of a JD, adapting to different academic expectations, methodologies, and legal traditions. That's no small task. As you all move forward into your legal careers, you'll be entering a profession that is increasingly international in character. Even roles that appear on the surface to be domestic now routinely intersect with international regulation, cross-border transactions, comparative reasoning, and global ethical expectations. I would also encourage you to remember that exposure to international and comparative legal perspectives carries with it a particular responsibility. Understanding more than one legal system gives you insight, but it also gives you influence. How you use that influence matters. Whether you work in private practice, public service, academia, or another field entirely, the profession needs lawyers who can think across boundaries thoughtfully, respectfully, and with a strong sense of justice. It's also my pleasure today to recognise exceptional achievement and academic excellence through the award of the presentation of the Nottingham Law School Dean's Award. This year's recipient is Robert Cole Kemp III. His dissertation, entitled "Time for America to Join the British and Continue the Civilianization Shift in Military Justice," was truly exceptional. So So I say to all of the graduates, what you've achieved here is significant, but it's also the foundation for what comes next. Your education has equipped you not just with knowledge, but with perspective. And perspective is one of the most valuable qualities a lawyer can possess. You now belong to a community of Campbell Law graduates and to a global legal profession, and for many of you, to an international academic partnership as well. Wherever your career takes you, you carry with you the values, standards, and expectations of Campbell Law School, and for those who studied with us, of Nottingham Law School too. I have every confidence that you'll represent them with distinction. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I wish you every success in the next stage of your professional journey, and I hope our institutions will continue to be part of your story in the years to come. Thank you.
I will now invite our LLM recipients to come to the stage for your hooding, please. Casey Bowker. Caitlin Gallimore. Catherine Green. Virginia Levine. Brendan Silverman. Please congratulate our LLM recipients.
It is the tradition of our law school to invite the valedictorian of the graduating class to speak on the class's behalf. So let me hand the podium to a truly outstanding graduate, Jessica Lynn Edwards-Dew.
Thank you, Dean Leonard, and good afternoon, distinguished faculty, family and friends, and fellow graduates. It is a profound honor to stand before you today representing this remarkable class. And before I go any further, yes, I know y'all hear the accent. These years of legal training may have expanded my perspective, but I'm so thankful to still sound like the place and the people who raised me. And I think that that is fitting for today, because one of the most profound lessons law school has taught us is that becoming lawyers does not require us to relinquish who we are. Now, to be sure, we have learned to think differently, write differently, advocate differently, and sleep differently, or go on little to no sleep at all. We survived cold calls and learned to craft blue book citations, sort of. We now understand that the answer to every legal question is always, it depends. We found that there is perhaps no stronger bond than the one formed between exhausted law students struggling their way through LRW 1 first semester 1L year. And somehow, through all the stress, exhaustion, caffeine, self-doubt, and occasional existential crisis, here we are. We made it, and we found our voices. Some of those voices were commanding in classroom discussions. Some were quiet but incisive. Some were persuasive. Some were skeptical. And some were just tired some days. Most of us, I suspect, were all of those things at different points. And our professors helped shape those voices in ways that we will never forget, even if we tried. Civil procedure with Professor Salchak was my very first law school class on my very first day. I remember clearly that about halfway through that class, he looked directly at me and said, "Miss Edwards-Dew, what would be entered against a defendant who failed to respond to a complaint?" After momentarily experiencing a level of panic that was previously wholly unknown to me, I somehow managed to muster the correct answer. But somewhere between Pennoyer and International Shoe and the Erie Doctrine, he taught us that the law demands precision, preparation, and intellectual humility. Professor Zinneker guided us. Some days it felt like he had to drag us through secured transactions. And he consistently demonstrated graciousness. No matter how incorrect an answer during a cold call may have been, and there were some rough ones in secured transactions, Professor Zinneker responded with patience and dignity. And in a profession built upon an adversarial system, that example of professionalism matters a great deal. Professor Lukasic brought an infectious energy into the classroom. Her optimism and genuine enthusiasm reminded us that passion belongs in this profession. Enthusiasm belongs here, and humanity belongs here. And Professor Crisco, who's retiring this year after a distinguished tenure at Campbell Law, gave us not only instruction, but levity. Long after we forget particular evidentiary rules, I suspect we will still remember his humor, his stories, and of course his instruction from remedies to sue everybody for everything. To all of our professors, thank you. You taught us doctrine and procedure, certainly, but more importantly, you modeled professionalism, integrity, and compassion, and you showed us what kind of lawyers we might become. There's a quote attributed to Voltaire that says, "I wholly disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." And the notorious Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, "You can disagree without being disagreeable." Those principles matter deeply right now, not only within our profession, but within our larger society. Over the past few years, we sat beside classmates whose backgrounds, beliefs, political views, and life experiences often differed dramatically from our own. We debated difficult questions, sometimes passionately, sometimes stubbornly even, occasionally while operating on very little sleep and running on nothing but Celsius and distress. And despite all of that, we kept showing up together. And that matters, because the law is not sustained by people who always agree. It is sustained by people who believe that disagreement can coexist with dignity. As future lawyers, judges, advocates, prosecutors, defenders, legislators, and leaders, we will all have enormous opportunities and enormous responsibilities. Clarence Darrow once said, "As long as the world shall last, there will be wrongs. And if no man objected, and if no man rebelled, those wrongs would last forever." At its highest calling, the law is not merely a profession. It is a service. It is standing beside people during the most difficult moments of their lives. It is defending fairness when fairness is inconvenient. It is advocating for justice when silence would be easier. And I hope that wherever our careers lead us after today, we never lose sight of that responsibility. Now, before I close, I would like to acknowledge one very important person. My daughter Avery is 8 years old, and I suspect that she is far more excited that this ceremony means I might finally stop studying everywhere all the time. For the past several years, much like my classmates' family members, I'm sure, she has watched me surrounded and some days drowning in casebooks, outlines, notes, highlighters. She may not fully understand what law school means, but she understands perseverance and she understands sacrifice. There were early mornings, late nights, and missed moments. But there was also purpose. And if there is one thing that I hope she and we remember from this experience, it is that difficult things are very much worth pursuing. Class of 2026, today we cross the threshold from students of the law to stewards of it. The honors matter, the accomplishments matter, and the titles matter. But our character will matter more. Our integrity will matter more. And the manner in which we treat people will matter most of all. So let us be lawyers who are accomplished but also compassionate. Let us be lawyers who can advocate fiercely without surrendering our civility. Let us be lawyers who pursue justice with courage, humility, and discernment. And most of all, let us be lawyers who leave this profession more honorable than we found it. Congratulations, Campbell Law School, class of 2026. Thank you.
And that's what a Campbell valedictorian sounds like. Let me close with a few remarks to this class that I so love. Standing here in my 13th year as your dean, I have enormous confidence in the superb quality of our legal education that we have given you. We have taught you to analyze an issue thoroughly, write persuasively, and stand on your feet and comfortably defend your position. With our rigorous curriculum, you have mastered most substantive areas of the law. You have learned to work under deadlines that are real. You have experienced competition here that is fair but not cutthroat. We have encouraged you to learn leadership by taking charge of and running the student groups and activities that we offer. We have taught you to trust your own moral compass when others propose shortcuts. And we have put you out in this community in externships, clinics, pro bono initiatives, and mentorships to learn how the practice of law really works. You are ready. And your skills are desperately needed because we are sending you out into a harsh world. Our political system is fractured with hyperbole and false claims, often replacing truth and the desire for common solutions. We are in the midst of an outright assault on our justice system, our judges, and even the concept of the rule of law. The significant gains we have made in creating a diverse society are being rolled back and ridiculed. A baffling conflagration in the Middle East threatens the world with nuclear horror. So what is my hope for you? I hope you leave here with a fervent commitment to the rule of law, that it is only through belief in and loyalty to our common system that problems can be addressed. I hope you understand that truth cannot be manufactured, but is objective, and no process has ever been better at finding truth than our legal system. I hope you believe in the intrinsic value of all of God's children and their right, as we say in our founding document, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As you spread out across big firms and small, big cities and small hamlets, private, public, academic, and corporate positions, I hope you leave here as warriors, warriors for democracy and warriors for justice. As we conclude, please stand for the singing of the Campbell anthem, not the national anthem, but we consider it that, followed by the benediction offered by Associate Dean John DeStefano. I'd ask you then to remain standing while the platform party and faculty depart and greet your graduates in the lobby. And thank you so much for joining us on this memorable day.
We hail our gracious alma mater, singing this glad refrain. We'll honor her with all our might and cherish every vein. Come and sing to dear old Campbell, pledge our tribute to. We'll praise her for all her merit and honor her with truth. We yield to her our true allegiance, raising her banner high. We'll stand with her through peace and strife. Her name will never die. Come and sing to dear old Campbell, pledge our tribute to. We'll praise her for all her merit and honor her with truth.
Let us unite our hearts in prayer. Gracious God, thank you for raising up these men and women to this great milestone. As these graduates enter the noble calling of the legal profession, as officers of your earthly courts, we ask in faith for a special charge and blessing upon them. Grant each of them a reverence for the foundational institutions of our country and the timeless principles upon which this nation was founded. May they be tireless guardians of liberty and justice, remembering that the freedoms we enjoy are not granted by government, but are rights endowed by you, which we must protect for all Americans. In a world where things are not always as they appear, reveal to them your objective truths. Guard them from the temptation of false teachings and ground them against the shifting sands of the day. Bless their work in the halls of commerce. Let them be advocates for the diligent and the enterprising, and for the vulnerable and the downtrodden, recognizing that society flourishes when all people are free to pursue their calling and enjoy the fruits of their own labor. Compel each of them to live a life of integrity, that we as lawyers maintain the American people's trust in the legal profession. In all their endeavors, through any callousness of the world and through any adversity, never let their hearts be hardened, but grant them a spirit of charity and kindness and joy. that they may reflect the light of your love to everyone they meet. O Holy Spirit, we pray you kindle a fire of purpose and truth in the hearts of these new attorneys and in everyone in this great room, and let it burn brightly in this life, for your light shines through the darkness, and no darkness shall overcome it. Bless these lawyers today and every day, and exalt them to even greater heights for you and your glory, God. For if you are with them, then nothing shall stand against them. We pray this through Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.